What's the good word, Josh? Your boy DKB here. So, oh my God, Zach Wilson has the game of his career, literally the game of his career. I pointed this out before, but if you asked me what was the previously best played game by Zach Wilson, I probably would have said the Pittsburgh Steelers win from a year ago. Off the top of my head, there's no other game that comes to mind where, I've just been wowed by Zach Wilson. But today definitely changed the narrative around Nathaniel Hackett, Zach Wilson, how this offense can attack defenses. Keep in mind, coming into this week, the Kansas City Chiefs were a top 10 unit in almost every major category, if not all major categories. And so it looked like it was going to be a long day, right? I posted the projections for a lot. The floor for a Kansas City Chiefs win was 10 points, I think 26-16. I don't know, something like that. But for the most part, 15 to like 21 plus points was the spread that I was seeing for a lot of these ESPN analysts and NFL insiders, etc. So I'm extremely proud of Zach Wilson, what he did. Yes, he had that very costly fumble at a time where we were about midfield as well, right? Probably could have gotten field goal range, tied things back up, but momentum was still very much so on our side. We were shutting Patrick Mahomes down. I mean, they're not a great second half team this year for some reason right now. And I won't necessarily say for some reason. We know the wide receiver core isn't as stacked as it's been before, or at least, posing an elite player within that unit. But still, it's Patrick Mahomes. He can make average people look great people look elite people look legendary. And so phenomenal job by the defense. There's two plays that had me extremely irate. I could spend this whole, however long this video ends up taking, just blowing up in my head right now. But there was one, and I got to check the all 22 because I couldn't 100% see to say for certain. But that 3rd and 26-yard scramble, whatever it was, by Patrick Mahomes late in the 4th. I seen Jermaine Johnson. I won't say he clearly won his matchup and beat his man, but he was pressing to try to stay within the 2-gap area to get to Patrick Mahomes if he decided to rush out of the pocket, which he did. And it looked like a hold to me. You see him kind of freak out at one point and start kind of like touching the helmet and like panicking in front of the tackle that was guarding him. And it looked like a hold to me. I can't say 100%, but it's going to piss me off until I can check it out. The second one, which is on everybody's mind, is 100% the holding call on Sauce Gardner versus, I believe it was Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Things were touchy the entire game. In my opinion, the Kansas City Chiefs got away with a lot of push-offs and kind of these, I forget the terminology I'm looking for, but like pitch routes where guys are kind of stepping in to like block a guy almost, or pick routes, I should say. And so it was very, very frustrating, but that holding call changed the entire complexity of this game, because you imagine the Jets get the ball back, and I want to say we're at about our own 30 or 40 yard line, somewhere in that range. Zach Wilson was hot tonight. This Kansas City Chiefs defense couldn't figure out a way to really nullify him. Garrett Wilson was seeing a strong volume of plays. They were letting up towards the end there, having like a linebacker kind of shadow him and maybe, some safety help over the top. And Zach Wilson was picking them apart. He threw darts to 10 different people today. Garrett Wilson, obviously being the star of the offense, he got fed quite a bit. He made the plays work with Allen Lazard, who's looked like our big play threat this year under Zach Wilson's guidance. Tyler Conklin, the plays that Zach Wilson could have missed. That Tyler Conklin one, I'm not going to put on Zach Wilson as much. I'll say 20% his fault. Pass could have been a little bit better, but pressure was bearing down. It was 100% a catchable pass early for Tyler Conklin. And then, of course, you had the extension by Garrett Wilson. It was just a tad bitch out of reach. But, again, the game of Garrett Wilson's career, this is very much one that feels like in many other places we've seen, the refs have undermined a great job in the once-in-a-blue-moon time that we get to see the offense go out there and ball out and do what they needed to do to help this defense out. And it looked like a very much so different team, right? Obviously, they shot out with 17 points early, but we settled in, we buckled up, and they only got 3 points in the second half prior to those two extremely long third down conversions. But we did very well here, right? You're talking about us keeping up in terms of the yardage total. Maybe we could have fed the ball to Breece Hall a little bit more, Dalvin Cook to me is continuing to look like a bust. To me, he doesn't even look like he wants to play football right now. I won't say it's a skill issue. When you look at him, he's almost the equivalent of like Tyler Conklin to me in a way, where he's going down within that first contact. He's not making guys miss. It's not bowling guys over. You see him kind of lazily when he does get opportunities to continue after contact. You see him kind of like BSing his way to maybe an extra yard or two. It doesn't really look like he's fighting or being aggressive in any way. He looks definitely worse than what James Robinson looked to me when we had him, and I think he's still either going to be the second worst or the worst running back in the NFL. So there's some things we need to work on. I don't care about the money we gave him. Bump up Michael Carter's carries. If Izzy's looking better from his thigh contusion, get him in there. But I will say at least we were able to get some things going, right? Third down efficiency is going to need to be better, 5 of 12. But we hung up there in plays, prior to those, again, last, drive or two from Patrick Mahomes, talking about us outpacing the Chiefs in plays. We finished with 57. I want to say that's our highest total on the season so far. Had great field position for, a decent portion of the game. And we were beating them in time of possession for quite a bit prior to that fourth quarter. So phenomenal game by them. I definitely feel like the refs, I don't even really have the words to express the frustration that I'm feeling around that, because it's so touch and go. And again, things just kept seeing like the refs were feeding into what Kansas City and them had going on. There was a lot of we got flag for unsportsmanlike conduct early in the game. There was a lot of chirping and some things that Isaiah Pacheco was doing all throughout the game. You seen Patrick Mahomes kind of chirping at some people at one point. So very, 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 very shaky, penalty calling in this particular game. But a lot of this, I will say, was definitely on the refs towards the end there. Granted, we were down. We had some opportunities to get ahead and stuff, but Zach Wilson, fire in the first half, came out gunslinging, that first drive in the third quarter, and then things teetered off a little bit, and he just really didn't get any more opportunities after the fact. But I'll say it again, this is the kind of player that we expected to see when we drafted him number 2 overall. This is the play we can get behind. And Nathaniel Hackett did an amazing job. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers really had any say. I'm not quite sure what the him being in the box and, however the communication would have went back and forth. It really seemed he was just spectating. But this is the kind of play calling that we love to see. There was creativity, easy reads, easy play options for Zach Wilson. Majority of his plays were literally under 2.5 seconds, in that range or under. We're seeing some stars potentially come out on that defensive unit as well. Quincy Williams looked great. I thought Jordan Whitehead was solid, although you're still seeing some of those fundamental lapses where he's looking for the big hit as opposed to the clean wrap-up. Quentin Williams is still getting after things. Bryce Huff. You're seeing Jermaine Johnson. You're seeing the reason why he won a job or stole a job, however you want to think about it, away from Carl Lawson. Adrian Amos, solid player. I think you'd see definitely a different dimension with Tony Adams back in play. But DJ Reed, can't say enough. He stopped a lot of what could have been huge yards after catch opportunities for Travis Kelce. As mad as I want to be, we had a chance to come away with this victory against a Super Bowl contender in our home, by the way. I'm still pissed that it seems like anybody can walk in our house and walk out with a W. But if there was going to be any game that really could change the narrative for the season, it would have been this one. You have a great foundation to work under from Zach Wilson starting from this game moving forward. And you've seen the guys rallying around him at the end when we realized we weren't going to get the ball back in his hands. Randall Cobb was over there. I think it was Alan Lazard and Mecole Hardman, but various guys coming up to let him know, we're going to live to fight another day. You weren't seeing that at any other point before. And so I'm excited. Moving forward, you take a look at what our schedule has. It's not the best situation to be in, but we have the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Giants coming up as the next 3 teams. I would say we should be able to walk away from that 2-1, which will put us at 3-4. We'll kind of see how things shake out in the AFC at that point. But things start to get a lot lighter after these next handful of games. So we'll see. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Can't wait to break into this all 22 when it drops in the next day or so and really kind of pinpoint what changed for us as an offense, or was it really Zach Wilson and whatever we were doing this week to prep him. And it's a tough L. Jets therapy will be starting Wednesday. I know we're going to need it, but yeah, share your thoughts with me and I'll get you guys again. Peace.